Alright, today is Wednesday, the 22nd of July, 2021. Another little update again on SPY. Was looking a little testy in the middle of the day here. Maybe we could have jumped a little lower, but perfectly reclaimed right back above VWAP. Right, just under all-time highs once again. Pretty insane. A few little market internals today. NASDAQ, a total of $141 billion volume as of right now. It's 4:30. Eastern Standard Time. NYSE 196 billion total dollar volume. Looks a little bit low, I think. And then OTC market 1.7 billion total dollar volume. Kind of big loss day for me. Two trades, morning dump trades that weren't bad trades. They weren't very great trades either. So that's WISA was the first one. You know, I woke up early this morning and kind of shortchanged myself, or kind of screwed myself over on getting up early this morning. What I thought was going to be a benefactor kind of ended up being biting the bullet for me today on that. So WISA was a mover, pretty nice daily, not great, and this of course isn't. Of course, a longer-term daily has a little bit more overhead, but in these recent few years, not much overhead to consider, and we're in a little bit of a rising trend. And especially with that green day yesterday, it wasn't the most A+ setup for me, in my opinion, because of that. But I wasn't going to deny the pattern that was approaching as I was watching it. The news catalyst was WISA certified category with new store on Amazon featuring WISA products and retailer bundles across blah, 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 blah. So they had new opportunities on Amazon. Big spike that way. Float is 9.5 million again, so pretty low float, plus another 4.4% reported short interest. You know, I questioned myself on the next short setup. I could tell myself that maybe I was a little bit too aggressive on the entry, but certainly in no way, shape, or form was I too overly aggressive with this type of entry with the signal that I trade on this pattern. Got a fill at like 494, I believe, or yeah, kind of really close to the bottom of this candle. A little bit of a chase at that point for when I see price action continuing to go sharper below a rising VWAP from such a rise on that VWAP from the peak. Got an entry there of like 400 shares, so $2,000 position size on that. Yeah, just kind of had to bite the bullet as it crossed that risk level of the high day. Was looking good on the second opportunity. I was not really tempted whatsoever to try and use another day trade to play any more of this again, and kind of glad I did, because even though this was just under this type of price action, a little cleaner without that peak. Yes, from like 5.4, you could have got a little 4.9 hit, maybe got your 10% there. But the trend wasn't there on it today. There was way more upside room left on this one that obviously you can't see or can't be aware of beforehand. It wasn't like it was pretty insane borrowing fees for the short to kind of clue me in that there was a lot more shorts in this that were pushing this up. I think this was just buyers supporting the bid, coming in and pushing this thing higher, and then ultimately just decided to fade and chug off the rest of the day. So yeah, pretty big loss to start off the day, but I wasn't phased by it at all. I understood that, hey, that's my risk level. Nothing is 100% in this market. Just gotta take it. So, but of course, always tough to start off with like a $220 loss, which is pretty big for the account size that I'm trading on that. But kept my head clear. Did very well to continue to watch and scan the market. CUEN was a great opportunity, and this was the one that I just was a little bit too aggressive, and I stopped myself. Thought I was getting in at a great fill as we were cracking VWAP, but I got bottom ticked here at this point and had to sell within the same minute candle as it broke that high of day. So the only real issue I could have with this one to say, okay, yeah, I maybe in hindsight a little bit too aggressive, but in all reality, this could have just started fading from that point too, and who's to say that this little perk above didn't happen, that it just started doing this from the get-go. And yeah, here's your 10% opportunity. Maybe I held a few shares into market hours, and it's just funny too to see this peak here, how perfectly it coincided with this key area back here. So maybe that's a little hint to say, okay, might be a little bit of influence or opportunity that other people are looking at as well that influences these price excuse me, influences this price action to match these types of areas, or they know that these key areas are points of interest for a lot of people, and if they can be able to hit them, then they can generate more volatility on these tickers. So just unfortunate on that one for geez, and that's within a minute, another 10% loss that I had to take on that cut, and another $200 down the drain. So pretty unfortunate, but it's not like I was emotional about it, not as if I was trading poorly or looking. I would have gotten rewarded definitely for trading stupidly and going against my rules, but kind of just reinforced what my pattern is, and maybe saying, okay, maybe we can take some adjustments for entry point and understand that we might have to be in for a little bit of slippage to just overall confirm that, okay, now we are under VWAP, because here it's just a little, boop, and then right back above, but it can trick a lot of people out. It tricks me out, the aggressive shorts, to say, okay, we're under VWAP, time to go. Whereas seeing that on many, many charts as well, that just because it barely dips under VWAP doesn't mean that's the crack of VWAP, that's the sign of entry for this type of pattern. But yeah, frustrating. Not the end of the world. Certainly going to factor that into my trades in the future. It gives me more experience, so that's how I'm viewing that from here on out. And then IGC. So we had a lot of great movers, big percentage movers today. Watch this thing. Initially it pulled up, kind of watching it as a morning dumper to see, hey, are we going to get a crack of VWAP here or dump? But this is a former runner. You can see the 10-year here, huge back in. Of course, before I was trading close to the end of 2018. That was a huge, insane run. And then I can remember these types of runs, looking at this ticker again. So knew there was potentially upside, but if it was just going to dump, then I was certainly ready if it wanted to just fall off the table at that. I didn't have any day trades left at that point, I think, because I already used the 2 on CUN and WISA, but certainly was ready. IGC is a float of 42 million, reported short interest of 7%. News catalyst today was they issued a patent for the treatment of Alzheimer's, which is a great buzzword that's been hot recently. Not like a huge sector of Alzheimer's, but like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, of course, are pretty decent buzzwords that can pump these stocks. And I think as we're coming out of the summer months and we're seeing a lot more recently in these past few days, we can get some huge, huge percentage moves and opportunities, especially looking in the pre-market, or if any stock wants to hit those types of buzzwords. Oh man, and just coming to this one, I did feel myself just getting so frustrated, like, ooh, I could just get in here. I know this thing's just going to spike hard the rest of the day. I just know it and felt it in my bones as we were trading around here. And I'm like, man, I should just buy and hold, be a degenerate. And as we were getting to this point and it's coming up on this next breakout level, I'm like, God, it's just going to continue to run. I got to get in. I got to go. And I amaze myself once again how I'm so able to buy the top and sell the bottom. It's just perfectly on this one candle of how they're able to get me. I swear they've got a camera in this room somewhere. So it was, yeah, $30 loss on that one. Nowhere near the end of the world, but just another freaking kick to the shins on this stupid day of, man, I wasn't even for the exit, like, I should have been holding anyway. My whole idea for this trade was, man, I'd just be holding the rest of the day. I know it's going to spike hard at some point, but I just got so attached to, I just want to be green in total. I want to just at least see some green, please. Give me something after being immediately just executed on both of those shorts. But no, I did well to limit my emotions and not go crazy size on this, and just cut it when I make the mistake and live with it. So after this, I pretty much just had to go for a walk, and I took the rest of the morning hours off just to clear with my head. I had some other personal stuff going on as well too, so certainly learning from the other ones that we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, I think in this case today, it was just better for me. Hey, take a step back. And it was so funny because I felt so great in the morning. I was like, hey, we're on it today. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Okay, here's WISA, go pump. Okay, I have to cut that one, on to the next one, CUEN. Okay, here, oh, got to cut that one. All right, still on to the next one. So it wasn't like I was just super emotional or tired or angry at all. I was pretty focused and aware the whole time. It's just how the cookie crumbled today. So other than that, a lot of big percentage movers in the pre-market, but kind of hard fading the rest of the day. So IGC, yeah, you can see huge perks and choppiness in the morning and pretty decent dollar volume today. We're just over $1 billion total dollar volume at the close here, but just hard fade the rest of the day. And this candle, I suspect, was a pretty hard and swift drop to the downside and cracked back under that VWAP, and that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for the rest of the day. A little bit of attempt here to try and reclaim that. You can see these little bit of higher lows, and then ultimate just hit it with the force of 1,000 waterfalls that it faded the rest of the day. Similar style on NURO. NURO had earnings, which showed up a little bit late on my scanner that I didn't see that. Of course, holding pretty well from its run-up so far. Yeah, this is third day. So even looking at this on the daily, I mean, yeah, it's kind of had a hard sell-off yesterday, breaking under VWAP, but reclaimed pretty well, and VWAP was rising. Volume's still there today in the pre-market, and then just continued to shoot higher. Explosion firework past these insane, ridiculous halting that even happened yesterday. Pretty crazy to see that. I wasn't there to watch any of that. I think I was walking at that point, but then hard sell-off. No opportunity for really any dip buys, just pure pandemonium. Falling VWAP, just kind of a bloodbath on that one. So shorts reigned pretty well on that. Eyes as well, sell-off. Was watching this from yesterday, how it was spiking hard. Pretty huge open of the pre-market, and then pure selling. Once again, a little bit of a perk at the market open, but ultimately it was just destined to die today. MTSL was another one. This was a former runner a long time ago, and then just had a little bit of a perk here in the recent few days. You could call this a morning dump. Like, looking at it how I saw it in the pre-market, the news was they announced a shareholder approval of a merger. So, and again here, micro float of 3.2 million, reported short interest of 1%. I didn't have any J trades left anyway to try and short this thing, and I think I just caught it when it was already down here at this point. But just curious to see that it kind of did follow a morning dump pattern, even with pretty decent news, and surprised to see that it was just selling so hard the whole day with decent news. So I don't know if that's factored into what the other company is or what the logistics of the deal actually are, but yeah, funny to see that one just kind of follow the whole trend for the rest of the market, or at least these NASDAQs as well. SOS, same thing, of kind of pre-market moving. See these pre-market spikes that it likes to do, but then just hard selling off and fading and doing nothing the rest of the day. FRXS, little bit of a morning dump, not like so far from VWAP, which makes me turned off a little bit when it has to just already dump so far in order for me to try and say that's an entry signal as a morning dump pattern trade. But did the same thing. You had a 10% opportunity there on the day as well. So that's all I had for my side of the view. Again, I wasn't, kind of took those 2 choppy losses and had to boot out for the rest of the day just to save myself and my mentality. I'm not wrecked. I'm not emotionally scarred from this. I think it's great learning lessons, and another huge step in my progress as a trader to say, I took a loss today, but that's part of trading, and taking big losses is kind of sometimes entailed. Maybe I adjust the pattern a little bit, maybe I ease back the size, but of course I'm just caught in that time loop again that I was a few weeks back of I can't just keep scaling down my size every time I take a big loss, or especially today if I take 2 big losses in a row. And then it just takes even longer to climb out of that hole. And then on the flip side of that coin, playing devil's advocate to both sides, if I end up somehow, luck of the draw, taking 2-3 more losses, that is a huge hit to the account and my ability to trade any further to get out of that hole. The percentages to get out of that hole are even greater than just sizing down and starting small once again. But I'm not really phased. I'm not wavered in my approach to it as of yet. I think maybe we could see some more potential squeezers, or the percentage of these VWAP breaks end up falling off for the pattern to even come out to play. But I don't see that really as of yet. I think I'm just still licking my wounds a little bit from today, and just focusing on how can I continue to fine-tune this pattern and ride that wave of perfection closer and closer every single day, while also understanding that this is still risk. This is still the management of your capital, and nothing is 100%, and I can't act or pretend that way that it is. And I think today was a great lesson of that as well. So I thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one.